Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So
So recently I was
I'm trying to see what this video is about, but I just heard what she said. Okay, I think this is a learning video for us guys, because on this channel we are learning ways to improve our relationships and our marriages, because it has to work. But that means that we need to pick right from the beginning, because you're not going to try to make it work with the wrong person, because that's waste of energy and time, unless if God decides to have mercy and change the person and rearrange the person
so
from
recently
the
I was
beginning.
talking to a
So
friend about
let's
a conflict
listen.
she
I'll
had with
try
her
not to
husband.
pause
The
this
details of the
or
conflict aren't
interrupt.
important, but she said
Let's go.
something really interesting in the conversation. She asked this question, essentially saying, if men are so good at problem solving, why are they so bad at solving problems within their relationship or even arriving to a moment of repair in their relationship? I hear so many women in my life and on this platform expressing this need to have their problem validated and to tackle whatever is going on in their relationship as a team. I hear so many women saying things to the effect of, I don't need you to tell me if my problem is real. I don't need you to tell me if I have the right to be upset. I don't need you to tell me whether or not I misunderstood something that caused me to be upset. I need you to care that I'm upset. And I think something that happens not just with men, but it's really a characteristic of privilege, is that when folks who have a position of privilege enter a conflict, they take on an arbitration role. And let me tell you what I mean. So when two people meet on equal footing, right, and they see themselves as equals and they don't see the other person's vision or ideas about them as a threat to their sense of self or their power or anything like that, they generally come to the table in a collaborative fashion, right? I think of conversations I've had with friends where I've said, hey, this hurts me, and they're immediately like, what's going on? There's a pause, there's a listen, there's reflection, etc. I feel like this fails to happen between men and women because men oftentimes remove themselves from the conflict and begin to make decisions about the conflict itself. These decisions can look a couple different ways. It can look like deciding whether or not there is a problem, what the problem is caused by, whether or not the problem is a result of the misunderstanding, etc., etc. On the surface, this can sound like super logical and rational and stoic, I guess, in a lot of ways. But if you dig deep, it's quite different. There's a very subtle, insidious, and frankly violent power dynamic that plays out in these kinds of interactions. Let me give you an example. When we have conversations as Black people about things like police brutality or racism in America, oftentimes we'll be met by white folks, particularly white women, that will point to another problem, citing that as the real problem. When women bring up their issues about feminism to men, men can often say things like, aren't there bigger fish to fry? Aren't there more serious things to worry about? So we obviously know that that is frustrating, distracting, and invalidating. But I think the piece that makes it so hurtful is the fact that the problem is being taken away from the person experiencing the pain of it, right? So if you've got an issue and I say, hey, isn't there something else here? This is actually a misunderstanding. The person has claimed control over the narrative of the situation for both of us, right? Deciding to arbitrate the narrative. And in doing so, essentially decided the real problem isn't the way that another person was hurt, isn't a result of maybe their careless or unkind behavior. The real problem is the person's response. And I think this
Okay. She's guys. A whole lot is going on in my head. That's struggling to come out at once. But all I want to say is that I get the point she's making, and she makes a lot of sense. So we need to understand, first of all, the power dynamics at work in every relationship. When we understand that, it we are better positioned to handle conflicts that may arise or will always arise in the relationship, because whether we like it or not, there will always be conflict. But the way and manner in which we approach the conflict, that is the key. That is the key. You know that Chinese adage I said that says what you are doing is so loud that I can't hear what you're saying. Let your action, even the way your body posture when the person is telling you, it's more than enough to tell the person if you are listening to me. Which is why in this case, active listening is very important. You're not listening to me to respond to me because, oh, you need to respond, but you are listening because you want to understand, why do I feel this way? What is the root cause of this problem? And how can we resolve this without escalating into something else? If you truly check why some people divorce, or why some people break relationships, even friendship, and if you check the root cause of it, you realize that it's something minute that actually started it, but
Shows up
because
a
of
lot
the
of
way
the
the person
times
handled it,
between men
that
and
was
women
when
in
it
terms
really
of
went out of
what the
proportion.
definition of a
So I
solution
get what you're
is.
saying.
Are we trying to solve the problem, like what my friend was experiencing, of her feeling chronically interrupted or frustrated in conversation? Or, from her husband's perspective, is the problem the fact that she is upset? And so the thing to be solved is her upsetness, not the chronic interruptions. This kind of conflict doesn't work. It doesn't breed resilience and it doesn't bring people closer. This kind of conflict breaks trust. The main reason being when we go to people that we care about with our problems, we're not really necessarily asking for them to solve our feelings about it. We're essentially saying, I'm having this experience. Your behavior contributed to it. Do you care? And our responsibility as loving, present, invested partners is to go, yes, I do. And from that place of, yes, I do care, it becomes you and your partner or you and your friend against the problem. What happens in this other scenario is it becomes the arbitrator of the conflict and their partner against them and their perspective and their narrative. It becomes them against their partner misunderstanding and getting upset.
Hmm, that makes total sense. And do you know what comes to mind? And from experience, what I've also noticed, couples that have this posture is it is you and I against the world, against the problem that we may have, against conflict, and not you and I, not you, not us against each other. You usually see that the relationships of these two people usually different. It's usually different. Even the experiences and everything is usually different. And when you know that you cannot even bring up your feelings on the table because it will be disregarded and you will be told how you should feel, it tends to shut the other person up, and you will now what starts happening in the other person will stop speaking up because my feelings are not going to be considered. So what's the essence? This will lead to another argument that will not be resolved. So what's the essence? Resentment starts coming in, and before you know it, they they go their ways. Oh, irreconcilable differences. That's what we start hearing. Meanwhile, if you check at it, it started from not hearing the other person, not acknowledging the other person's feeling. We can't be hurting people and telling them how to feel or how to react. That's the problem. That is the problem. Oh, is it because of this little thing? Why are you even angry? Why are you this angry? Is that why you are this mad? Guys, let's see what the people in the comments are saying. This person said, also, if my partner sees me being upset as the problem, when I'm in a better mood, he thinks the problem is solved, which makes me feel like I have to stay in a bad mood or my issue goes away. This is it. Do we do beyond, even beyond romantic relationship? Do you know that we do this even in our friendship, even in our relationship with our siblings and our families? This just took me back to when me and my sister have disagreements, and when I notice that she's in a good mood, in my mind, oh, we are back. But that did not resolve the problem because it will go on to repeat itself. Because it's not resolved, it will keep repeating, repeating, and repeating. Hmm. 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 You see why in every relationship there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like I've been saying, it's why we need to do a lot, educate ourselves a lot to ensure that we have healthy relationships. Not just business or career. Even our relationship needs education. It needs improvement, constant improvement. We can't be the same person that entered and expect it to work all through. So there needs to be constant re-improvement or reinvention, constant re-evaluation. What we need to improve, what was working, what we need to amplify, what we need to let go, what we need to adapt. Hey, this is nice. So this someone said, I call this qualified empathy. When people require someone to justify their pain before deciding it's worth their compassion. No, this conversation is filled with smart and intelligent people. Hmm. Hmm. So this empathy I want to give now, is it qualified? Is it justifiable? Hmm. Empathy, putting yourself in other people's shoe. But I need to decide if I need to put myself in your shoe. Is it? Hmm. Hmm. I love this. This is nice. This is actually eye opening. But guys, let me know, what did you pick in this, and what is it that even you yourself you need to improve on? Because we oftentimes we're always pointing fingers at other people. Let's personalize it. That's at the root cause of what I'm doing on this channel. I need us to personalize videos we see. Let's try to ask ourselves, how can I apply this? Where do I need to improve in my relationship generally, not just romantic relationships, even in your relationship with your siblings, your friendship, your parents? How can you show up better? That's the question we need to start asking ourselves. Oh guys, see you on the next video. Bye.